In this video, it's 9.6, practice number 1. So the bell work is solving using square roots, and then the main lesson is using the quadratic formula. So what we want to do is type or write the three-step equation or the multi-step. To undo adding 11, we minus 11. So then 20 minus 11 is going to be 9. Divide by 5. And now we're left with x squared. So some students are not sure on how to show work for this. You want to write the square root, and you want to write the square root. This is where the calculator comes into play. Here's the square root button, and then do 9 divided by 5. So then your calculator is only going to give you the positive number. But we need to know that it's also the negative number, because when you square a positive, you're going to get a positive, and when you square a negative, you're going to get a positive. So both answers work. For slide number 3, once again, it's a multi-step with the undo step being adding 1 on both sides. So then we have negative 3x squared equals 27. Divide by negative 3. Then we're going to have negative 9. Now this should be kind of like a red flag area, because by now you should realize, oh, we can't have a negative square root, at least not right now. In Algebra 2, they're going to teach you imaginary numbers, but for right now, it will be no real solutions, because we cannot have a negative underneath the radical. So this just shows you the whole quadratic formula and how it splits up to an adding problem and a subtraction problem. This shows you that if the discriminant is positive, you're going to have 2x intercepts. If the discriminant is 0, it's going to bounce on the x-axis and then go back up or go back down, depending on if it's negative or positive. And then this negative discriminant means it will never touch this x-axis. So the first steps you want to do is label. So A equals 2, B equals at negative 3, or negative 13 rather, and then C equals 7. So use the math type. Also it says calculate the discriminant. The discriminant is the b squared minus 4 AC. The minus 4 comes from the formula, okay? If you go back to this slide, the minus 4 is always there. Here it is again. Here it is again. Okay? So it has nothing to do with the equation. It's just a part of the formula. So my b squared minus 4ac is really negative 13. And if you don't use parentheses, the calculator will do it wrong. So make sure you do parentheses. So I just plugged in my values. Now, since I typed it, I'm just going to copy and paste it. So the calculator is going to get me equals 113. Now, if you look back on slide 6, it's a positive number under here. So that means I'm going to get 2 answers. So now I'm going to plug it in. I like to hit the division bar first. Negative, and then the negative 13. It's always going to be the opposite. SQRT gets you the square root symbol. We found the discriminant to be 113. And then 2 times our a value. So just to recap, my b value was negative 13. My a value was 2. And then my discriminant, what we found in the calculator, goes underneath the square root. Now I'm going to copy and paste that whole thing, and I'm going to get one of our solutions. One of the solutions is 5.91. Now how you get the other solution is, instead of adding, we're going to minus. See this minus sign here? That's the only thing that I'm going to change. Everything else stays the same. And now I'm going to copy and paste that. And then that x-intercept is going to be 0.59. So that is where the two points of intersection are. Alright, so number of real solutions is going to be 2. And then it doesn't matter where you put the x-intercepts. It's going to say that you got it right. Now, the important part here when you're graphing is just to approximate. It's almost at 6. It's almost at 0.60. And then your A value. Your A value, if you scroll all the way up, is a positive 2. So since it's a positive 2, it's going to be facing upward. Now for slide number 8, we're going to go through the exact same steps. You want to label your A, your B, and your C. Please do not forget the negative sign. That is super important. And then C is 25. So B squared, once again, if you do not use parentheses, you will get this problem wrong. The calculator does the wrong order of operations as soon as you don't use parentheses. So this part right here, the B squared minus 4AC, is your discriminant. Notice my discriminant is 0. That is okay to have an answer, or it's not really an answer, it's just part of the step, to be 0. If you go back to slide 6, right here, it says 0. That means we're going to have one real root, one answer. So let's plug it in and confirm that. Once again, I like to use the division. So opposite of our B value, plus SQRT, 0, and then 2 times our A value. Alright, so I'm going to use that little symbol right there. That means approximate. You do not have to put that into the calculator. You're going to put in the calculator is the numbers. So you're going to get 5. Well, what happens if you don't remember that a discriminant of 0 only gets you one answer? You will be able to do the minus. And then you're going to realize something. You're going to get both answers of 5. That's really silly. You're getting 5 twice. Well, 5 is only the same number, right? So, down here, number of solutions, 1. And what solution is it? It's 5. It crosses at x equals 5. Now, how do we graph that? You put a point right here. Go back up. My A value is positive. So I know that it's going to look like a U. So I'm just drawing a U through that one point. All right, same idea. 3 is our A. B is going to be -2, and then C equals 1. So our discriminant, B squared, minus 4A times C. And put that part in the calculator. Going to get -8. So this should be a red flag for you. -8 that goes underneath my square root. Well, you should know that the negative under square root can't happen, at least not right now. So let's confirm that. Now, I forgot to do the division. If I do the division now, notice that my negative 2 is to the side. I don't want that. So what I have to go back and do is do the parentheses. I have to wrap up the top and then divide by 2 times 3, which is our a value. Now, if I put this into the calculator is going to tell me undefined. Undefined is not the answer. Undefined tells me, if you go back to slide 6 again, notice I have a negative here. It tells me that there's no real roots or no real solution. So you have to be mindful of that. So there, we just have to put, nope, number of real solution, there are none. Now all that means is it doesn't cross the x-axis. So our a is 3. So you can have a graph that looks like this. Let me do a better job for you guys. Or you can have a graph that looks like this, okay? Doesn't need to be both, just one of them, because I haven't shown you how to actually plot points, so we're just sketching. So it doesn't matter where the location is, as long as you know it points upward and it does not cross up the x-axis. Alright, so a value for this one is 2, b value is -7, c value is 3. -7 squared minus 4a times c. So put that into the calculator. You're going to get 25. Now, since our discriminant is positive, we know that we're going to have 2 answers. So first thing you want to do is hit division, opposite of our -7. SQRT gets a square root, 25, and then 2 times 2. All right, so that gets us 3. Now, to do the opposite, well, it's not really the opposite. To do the minus version or subtraction version, what we're going to do is copy and paste that. And we're going to get 0.5. So, just like we said, it was a positive discriminant, so we have 2 answers. It's going to be 0.5, and it's going to be 3.